Known as the heart of the Sunshine Coast, Port Alfred is a popular holiday destination in the Eastern Cape. But the small coastal town is battling a severe drought. Taps have been running dry in the tourist destination and surrounding areas like Kenton-on-Sea, Alexandria and Bathurst. Communities have been relying on water tanks, with residents claiming that they often arrive late with insufficient water. Our reporter Aviwe Mtila is on the ground. Let's cross to him now for an update. Aviwe, I was in Makanda at the beginning of last year, which is not far from Port Alfred, and already there they were having water cuts. They had a combination of water cuts and power cuts, and it seems like things are getting worse in that area.
Certainly getting worse. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful areas in South Africa, big tourist destination, Port Alfred. But sad to hear that in the last 2 years, the taps have run out with inadequate water supply. Well, inadequate is actually putting it mildly. One of the gentlemen I bumped into earlier told me they last had a shower back in May. So they've had to make means in how they collect water because his taps has run out. In fact, thousands of people here don't have water at all. In fact, they have to queue up for water tankers, which depend if they even arrive. But a person who has a better understanding is Dawie van Wyk from the Residents and Taxpayers Water Association. Thank you for joining us at eNCA. But let's start with your personal circumstances. When last have you had municipal water?
I had municipal water last on the 15th of January 2021.
15th of January 2021. How do you then have water or access to water?
What I've done is I've have reserved water tanks around my house, and then I harvest the rain through gutters and into those tanks, and then I've got a pressure pump on those tanks, and I pipe water into my house, and the pump puts pressure on that water so that I can have water in my taps. So I have no water from the municipality whatsoever.
And your neighbours, what's the situation? Maybe paint a picture of how the situation is around Port Alfred.
My neighbour's got 9 tanks. He hasn't used municipal water for the last 10 years. This neighbour's got 7 tanks. He also doesn't use municipal water. Unfortunately, my tanks are not quite enough to last me through the year, but it depends on how much it rains. But I can probably go for 5 to 6 months without using municipal water.
And the less fortunate communities have to line up in the thousands. But we do understand there's a drought, but is it an issue of a drought? Hearing that the AG report suggests that 50% of the water in Port Alfred is unaccounted for. That's at least 27 million rands worth of water.
That is quite correct in the AG's report, and I think it's to do with a lack of foresight, and it's a lack of maintenance of the pump stations, and we didn't take advantage of the water coming down the river to the weir where they pump the water into the Sorrel Haywood Dam. So unfortunately, the Sorrel Haywood Dam is now empty, so we cannot pump any water from there. So the only thing we have at the moment is an emergency RO plant that is producing short of 2 megalitres of water a day, and Port Alfred actually needs 6.5 megalitres of water a day. So we're getting about a third of the water, which means the only people who are getting water are in the low-lying areas of Port Alfred, as the water cannot be pumped into the high-lying areas as there's insufficient water.
And thousands queue up for those water tankers. Yes. You quite close with the residents, given your association and the work that you do. What's the sentiment heading to those local government elections? We know it's an ANC-run Ndlambe municipality.
Everyone is extremely angry. They've been shouting about the water for a number of years, and nothing seems to happen. They have all sorts of plans. They built 100 million rand RO plant up on the hill there. Amatola Water built it. They never finished it. So this white elephant sits up on the hill there, and all it was designed to make the water taste better. It's not actually adding a single litre of water to our water supply.
Okay, thank you very much. Dawie van Wyk from the Taxpayers and Residents Association, painting a grim picture of the water situation in Port Alfred, saying that there's 100 million rand white elephant that's sitting on the mountain while the people on the ground have to queue up in the thousands. No water, him in particular, since the 15th of January, municipal water at the Ndlambe local municipality.